Alright, so there's this 30-day trans challenge going on YouTube right now. Actually, it's going on Tumblr, but I'm stealing this other guy Jack's idea and posting weekly YouTube videos. So, that's right, I'm not going to be posting every day. You're not going to have to get sick of my lovely face or anything. But I thought it would be cool to do this with weekly videos, and so yeah, let's get this started. So I was about 13 or 14 when I first heard the term transgender. Actually, I really saw it. I read about it on the internet, and I knew immediately that it described what I was going through. I never really identified as a transgender person so much. I just felt like it described the situation that I was in. And it was really relieving because prior to finding out about it through the internet, I had no fucking idea what was going on with me. I knew that I felt like a guy. I knew I really was a guy. I just didn't know that it was sort of legitimate. I just kind of assumed that there was something wrong with me. And of course, there was something wrong with me, but all that was wrong with me was that I was born into the wrong body. I wasn't some, like, raging lunatic or anything like I feared. Okay, so I know it's a little weird, but maybe it has something to do with the fact I didn't like the name that I was assigned at birth. But I've always kind of had a thing for names, not so much now, but when I was like 10 to 15 or so, I was really into checking out baby names online, and my mom even got me a book for Christmas one year or something. So yeah, I was always looking at names, and I just came across Jack and Lucas, and I really liked those, and they fit me. So yeah. Really, the bigger question isn't why I chose those names so much as why I didn't choose Eric, because when I was a kid, I always used to call myself Eric, and I would write down my name as Eric, and yeah. In the end, I guess, I was just Jack, not Eric. I don't know, I'm not going to try to turn this into some deep philosophical thing, but food for my own thought, I suppose. Alright, moving on. I really don't like this question because it's a sensitive issue for me, even now. Yes, I have been outed. The first time I was, I guess, in 12th grade, actually I had probably been outed before that, but the first time I had been really majorly outed in a way that really affected me was in 12th grade. I had just switched back into public school. It was in a town where everyone knew me, yet I was still kind of delusional and assumed I would somehow stay a bit under the radar, especially with the younger kids anyway, maybe not in my own grade, but I mean, who was I kidding? People talk. Anyway, so people were talking the very first week I got there. Actually, within a couple days, some kid went on AIM and posted as his away message a conversation he had with his friend where they were kind of like, hey dude, you know that new guy in our calculus class? Well, it's actually a girl. And posted my old name and stuff, and I don't know, not so nice. But I actually ended up being friends with both people involved in that, the guy who posted the away message and the guy I had the conversation with, and they ended up being cool in the end. But yeah, when that happened, I actually really wanted to kill myself. Fortunately, and excuse the metaphor, I never like using this one, but I kind of just grew the balls and confronted them, and yeah, it worked out. The bigger problem I have with outing is that my friends, well, they're not douches or anything. They don't like walk around with a placard pointing to me saying, ooh, this is my trans friend Jack. Once in a while, they think it's okay to make certain exceptions for certain people in certain situations. And it's never okay. It's not okay if someone else is trans. It's not okay if it's your significant other. It's not okay unless I say it's okay. Well, my brother basically was saying, I'm not going to call you your new name until it's legally changed. I'm not going to call you he and him and say his until you have a penis between your legs. And he got over that quickly, and now he's actually really cool. he's actually got my back. Like if I'm out playing golf or something with him and his buddies, I'll make it less awkward when I have to go to the bathroom or something and can't just like whip my dick out and go in the woods. He'll kind of cover for me and joke about it a little as we're, driving off to the outhouse or something. So he's really great. My dad, well, basically my mom shifted all the responsibility onto him. She didn't want to deal with me and my trans issues or whatever. So he had to go through everything with me. He took me to therapy. He read about it. He heard about surgeons and surgeries and all that. So he kind of went through the process with me. He didn't take everything just at face value. He questioned it. He challenged it a little bit. But mostly because he actually cared that I was doing something that would make me happy. And he had a really good attitude about it. And as soon as he saw that this is what I needed to do, that this was the only way I could really be happy in life, he went along with it. And he even gave me support financially, which I know is really problematic for most trans guys. So I kind of had it really lucky in that sense. When it comes to my mother, I don't even know where to begin, so I'll choose with the happy part. The happy part is that after 5 long years, we're finally in a wonderful place. We finally have a wonderful relationship. However, the road here has been extremely bumpy. I don't really know how much I want to divulge, partly because it's really hard for me to talk about it, and secondly because this video is already long enough, and thirdly because I don't know, it's not that it would be unfair to her, she's never even really going to see this, but I don't know, I just feel she had her own reasons for being the way that she was, and while it wasn't right, I feel like if I talk about it and give my biased view of it, I can't really speak to what she was going through. And like I said, while the way she treated me was wrong, there are valid reasons why she was having such a hard time with it. Like, it doesn't make her behavior valid, but I don't know, there is some logic to it, and I can't fully communicate that since it was so painful for me to go through. I don't know if this makes any sense. Long story short, it was a complete horror show with her at first. She didn't want to support me at all. Like I said, she completely shifted responsibility onto my father, and it would have been fine if she was just totally passive about everything, but she kind of actively encouraged him not to listen to me, said that I was just being manipulative and that he shouldn't give in to my games, and she told him not to give me any support whatsoever, especially financially. And I don't know, it was just a mess. She called me the wrong name, wrong pronouns for years and years and years. There was a point at which I guess my name was legally changed, and so I said, why are you, giving me cards and things that say my old name? You can't do that. And so she finally gave in and started writing the new name, but she'd put quotation marks around it as if it was some sort of joke to her or not really real, like I wasn't really that person. I don't know, just things like that. Really inconsiderate. She didn't get it at all. And every time we tried to talk about it, we would end up fighting and screaming. And then, my stepfather would call me disrespectful. And I was accused of bringing hatred in their house of love. And it's a whole fucking saga. I'm making the long story long instead of keeping it short. So let's just say, horror show. And now magically it's really good. I'm her son and she's proud of it. So how the fuck we got here, I don't know. Lots of bumps. But we're here now. That's the good thing. It sounds a little weird, but I've actually always felt like more of an ally in the trans and LGBT community. For many years I just avoided it altogether, but in the past couple of years, taking part in it has been more important to me. I just prefer to do so, as I said, as an ally and through more private channels. I love being on YouTube. I love being on Tumblr. I'm really happy to help whenever people message me. I'm not that big into educating people about trans issues, but I am into helping other trans people out. So that I'm cool with. The other gets a little bit exhausting for me, so I try to distance myself from that. But that's also a noble cause, and all people who want to take it up, go for it. I just don't have the time or the energy or the patience. But like I said, I love helping out other trans guys. This past year, I've also been to Pride in New York, in Stockholm. I went to Trans Health in Philly. I also went to a trans rally in the city, and I never realized how good it would actually feel for me to be around other trans people, be in a place where trans was the norm. I think I had really underestimated how good that would feel, especially, since I do identify more as an ally, since I don't actively have a trans identity, really. But more and more, I'm seeing the value of the trans and LGBT community. I'll probably continue to take part in them in smaller ways, but it is important to me to be active in some way. God, I honestly don't remember the first person I told about being trans. Probably my parents, my psychologist, or my two best friends at school. I was kind of under the radar for a very long time. It was a very private thing for me the first 3 years of high school. It took me until senior year to come out. But yeah, as I said, my two best friends knew, and my parents knew, and my psychologist knew. So one of them was the first. Who do I look up to? Well, seeing as I am 5'2" and live in Sweden, I'd like to say that I look up to, well, more than 50% of the people that I encounter on a daily basis, if I'm making a conservative estimate, and probably including small children.